Are some cooking methods healthier than others? Let's talk about that. How's it going, guys? My name's Richie Kerwin, and today we're going to take a deep dive into the world of cooking techniques and how they can impact the nutritional content of your food, your body weight, and your health. You know, when it comes to nutrition, we often focus on what we eat, but we rarely talk about how we actually cook our food. Well, today we're going to change that. Understanding different cooking methods and their effects on nutrients, flavors, and overall health is essential to make the best choices in our kitchens. So let's get cooking. Before we start, it's worth talking about why different cooking techniques might have an impact on health. Cooking isn't just about turning raw ingredients into mouth-watering culinary creations. It's also a process that can influence the nutritional profile of our meals. Different cooking techniques can impact nutrient retention, or the amount of nutrients present in a food compared to before cooking. It can affect bioavailability, which is our ability to absorb certain nutrients from food. It can affect calorie content, which can increase or decrease based on the method used. And cooking can even affect the formation of potentially harmful compounds in the foods we eat. Cooking methods can all differ by temperature, time, and added ingredients, all of which can affect the food being cooked in different ways. For example, heat can destroy some vitamins like B and C, but heat can also make food more digestible, which improves the absorption of some minerals like iron and even polyphenols like lycopene in tomatoes. So let's kick things off with one of the simplest methods of cooking that many of you will be familiar with: boiling. From your childhoods, a lot of you will probably remember being served mushy, overcooked vegetables that have been boiled almost to the point of disintegration. Boiling is super simple. Just add a food to boiling water and wait until it's cooked through. In terms of temperature, it's very low. Remember, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, so your food and what's in it isn't going to get much hotter than that. So boiling is considered a relatively gentle way of cooking. As higher temperatures usually mean the destruction of some nutrients, this is a good thing. But the problem with boiling is that when food is being cooked, some of the vitamins and minerals it contains, particularly water-soluble vitamins like vitamin C and the B group, leach out into the cooking water. As that water is usually thrown away, that means you're not getting the benefit of those vitamins and minerals. Now, you could boil your foods and then drink the cooking water after, but that's just disgusting. Another option would be to use boiling methods that allow you to hold onto the cooking water. What are those, I hear you asking? Well, think of soups and stews. This is basically boiling food and eating all the flavored cooking liquid together. Soups and stews and similar foods like curries, chilies, and casseroles are a fantastic way to make sure that you keep all the valuable vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients from meat and vegetables. These types of cooking methods can be used for a whole host of different foods, including meats, vegetables, grains, and legumes. The other advantage they have is that you can cook them in bulk, making them great for meal prep. Next up is another water-based, gentle cooking method. Steaming involves cooking food using the heat of vaporized water, and it's mostly used for cooking vegetables and some tubers like potatoes. Steaming vegetables probably preserves more water-soluble vitamins like vitamin C and vitamin B compared to other cooking methods like boiling, because the cooking water doesn't actually penetrate the vegetables and leak out. Another reason that steaming may be better than boiling is that people tend to steam vegetables for a short time so that they keep some of their crunch. The shorter cooking time means fewer vitamins might be destroyed by the heat. For the exact same reason, steaming also helps maintain the vibrant colors of veggies, making them look even more appetizing, which may encourage people to eat some more. The main disadvantage of steaming is that you need a specific steamer basket to do it, and it's not suitable for many foods. There's a reason you don't see steamed steak on the menus of restaurants all that often. Another water-based cooking method is pressure cooking. A pressure cooker is a very well-sealed pot that allows you to increase the pressure of the food. Increasing the pressure raises the temperature that water boils at, meaning pressure cookers can get up to 121 degrees Celsius. This allows you to cook certain foods a lot quicker. Pressure cooking can be a great method for nutrient retention, especially for legumes and grains. This is because the temperatures are still relatively low, and the sealed environment of the pressure cooker helps keep those nutrients locked in. Another benefit of pressure cooking is that it can tenderize tough cuts of meat in a relatively short amount of time, making it a great option for those hearty stews and roasts. On the downside, pressure cooking might not be suitable for more delicate ingredients like certain vegetables or fish, as they can become overcooked and pretty much fall apart very quickly. Another big disadvantage is that nobody has a pressure cooker anymore. They were pretty popular in the 60s and 70s, apparently, although they are making a comeback in some combined all-in-one cooking appliances that include devices like air fryers, roasters, soup makers. Now, along with all these moist cooking methods, doesn't that sound delightful? I can't leave out one of my favorite methods: slow cooking. This involves adding multiple ingredients like meats, tubers, grains, legumes, and vegetables to a slow cooker or a crock pot, which very slowly cooks them at a low temperature over a few hours. As the overall temperature in slow cooking is around 90 degrees Celsius, it can help preserve more nutrients in certain foods like vegetables, legumes, tough meats, compared to very high temperature methods. And assuming all the juices released from the food are not thrown out, which is the case when you make stews, curries, or chilies in a slow cooker, you won't lose any nutrients through leaching. Plus, slow cooking can be a real time saver since you can throw in all the ingredients and let the magic happen while you go about your day. This makes it great for meal prep too. Moving on to something a little different, grilling and barbecuing are pretty similar methods that use high heat from above in the case of grilling and directly from below in the case of barbecuing. They're really popular for cooking meat because the high temperature searing that gives the golden brown color to meat is the result of caramelization and the Maillard reaction, where proteins react with carbs in the meat, giving it a really delicious flavor. In terms of vitamin and mineral loss, there will be some vitamin loss due to the temperature, which happens in all cooking, but there isn't much loss of juices, hopefully, which means there isn't a huge loss of nutrients. But there's a catch. Grilling at high temperatures, particularly when that leads to burnt or blackened foods, like the grill lines on a steak, can lead to the formation of potentially harmful compounds such as heterocyclic amines, HCAs, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAHs. These compounds have been linked to an increased risk of certain cancers and are actually higher in barbecued food due to both the direct contact of the food with the metal of the barbecue and because the charcoal used to heat barbecues releases its own carcinogenic compounds when burnt. This isn't to say that you should never eat barbecued food. Once in a while is probably fine, but having burnt food daily might be an issue. And if you live in the UK or Ireland, let's be honest, how often is the weather going to be good enough for you to have a barbecue anyway? One way to reduce the formation of the HCAs and PAHs is to use marinades with ingredients high in antioxidants like herbs, tomatoes, and even fruit like blueberries. The antioxidants have been shown to actually reduce the formation of some of the carcinogenic compounds produced when meat is grilled or barbecued. On top of that, indirect grilling, where food doesn't touch the metal heating element, or using foil packets around your food, can dissipate some of the direct heat and prevent excessive charring. Next up, most people will admit that fried food is delicious because the fat used in frying is a flavor enhancer, but we also know that it's probably not the healthiest option. So let's talk about some common frying methods and see if some are maybe better than others. Frying, again, is pretty quick, but you're not going to lose many nutrients through leaching like with boiled foods, which is good. But the main disadvantage of frying is that some fried foods can absorb a lot of oil during cooking, making them much more calorie dense, and which is a problem for weight gain and related health issues if you consume them in excess. Some foods absorb more oil than others when fried too. Starchy foods like potatoes and breaded foods absorb more oil than something like an egg or a piece of meat. Reducing the amount of oil you use can help to limit the amount of added fat in your food, helping prevent you from eating too many calories. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, deep frying can lead to even more excessive oil absorption. More than that, deep frying oil is often reused, which may lead to the formation of potentially harmful products like peroxides, which some studies have linked to health issues. Now, stir frying is a quick and flavorful technique that's widely used in Asian cuisines and uses a large hot wok to cook meat and vegetables quickly. Stir frying can be a great method for retaining antioxidants like carotenoids and vitamin E due to its short cooking time and the limited exposure to direct high heat, as the food is often tossed around really quickly. This helps keep the veggies crisp and the colors nice and vibrant. Because it's easier to control the amount of oil used in stir frying, and because it's so quick, and because the food is often well seasoned, stir frying can be a great method for controlling calories, improving flavor, and retaining nutrients. The same can be said for sautéing meats and vegetables in a regular frying pan. Now, when talking about frying, everyone always wants to know what is the best oil to fry with. We do know that some oils are a little more stable than others when it comes to being heated. When oils get heated, it can lead to the production of compounds like peroxides, which some people believe might be damaging to health. Saturated fats, like coconut oil for example, are usually more stable, which means they're less likely to form peroxides than monounsaturated fats like olive oil or avocado oil, which are more stable than polyunsaturated oils like soybean or sunflower oil. Here's the thing though, we still don't have enough evidence to say with certainty what the effects of heating different oils are on health. On top of that, if you only use a small amount of oil for cooking, which from a calorie perspective is probably a good idea, and you're not deep frying your food in oil that gets reused multiple times, then it probably doesn't matter all that much what oil you use for cooking. As long as you're not using loads and reusing reheated oil, you're probably absolutely fine. Next up, I'm going to talk about two very similar cooking methods together: baking and air frying. Baking uses hot air in an oven to cook foods like breads and meats and vegetables. And air frying does the exact same thing, except the air is usually circulated at higher speeds in a much smaller space for faster cooking. Neither of these methods lose a lot of nutrients through leaching or loss of juices, which is great. But one thing to be aware of is the high heat used, just like in grilling or barbecuing. Baking and air frying foods at high temperatures, especially starchy foods, leads to the development of flavor compounds on food, but can also lead to the production of a compound called acrylamide. Acrylamide is actually found in a lot of common foods like roasted potatoes and vegetables, crisps, chips, toast, cakes, biscuits, cereals, and even coffee, which is roasted before brewing. Acrylamide has been shown to cause issues in animal studies, but what happens in animals doesn't necessarily happen in humans. At the moment, there is no conclusive evidence to suggest that normal levels of acrylamide produced in baked foods are a major health concern for humans. That said, avoiding overly browned or even burnt food is a good idea because these burnt portions do contain a much wider variety of potentially carcinogenic compounds. So, as long as you're not burning your food, baking and air frying can be great methods for cooking a wide variety of foods which develops flavor, retains nutrients, and doesn't add a load of added fat. Now, finally, I want to touch on a method of cooking that gets a huge amount of bad press due to a lot of misinformation. The microwave has become a kitchen staple for many, but there's an ongoing debate about its impact on nutrient retention. Microwaves cook food by using electromagnetic radiation to cause water molecules in the food to vibrate and heat the food up from the inside out. So it's technically a water-based cooking method. That means it doesn't achieve the high temperatures reached with methods like grilling or barbecuing. The big fear around microwaves is that people think it irradiates food to cook it, which makes the food radioactive. The type of electromagnetic radiation that a microwave uses is low energy, much lower energy than visible light, and even lower energy than ultraviolet light, and nothing like the energy someone would get from an X-ray. What this means is that microwaving does not make your food radioactive and has pretty similar effects on the food as other water-based cooking methods. Microwaving is actually a great method for preserving nutrients in vegetables, especially when compared to boiling. The quick cooking time and minimal use of water help retain more of those essential vitamins and minerals, and it's also very energy efficient. The only problem is that it doesn't improve the flavor of food like frying or grilling. Which brings me to an important point. While each cooking method has its advantages and disadvantages, you don't need to stick to one single method. Combining cooking techniques can actually help maximize nutrient retention and enhance the overall flavor of your dishes. So, for example, you could quickly cook some slow cooking vegetables like carrots in the microwave to tenderize them and make them more digestible, and then quickly stir fry them together with some quick cooking vegetables like peppers or spring onions to improve the flavor. Remember folks, it's all about balance and cooking in line with your goals. While some cooking methods may be better at preserving nutrients, others can improve flavor and may make a diet more enjoyable. And that is damn important for helping you to stick to a diet long term. As always, the key is to get creative in the kitchen, experiment with different methods, and most importantly, enjoy what you're doing. As long as you're not boiling all the nutrients out of your food, burning it to a crisp, or adding ridiculous amounts of added fat, you're probably doing okay in terms of health. Don't overthink it. I really hope this has helped you understand the pros and cons of different cooking methods. As always, if you have any more questions, let me know in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe to the MyProtein YouTube channel for more evidence-based nutrition information.